Launching in 1998, the Dreamcast didn't last as long as other systems of the same generation, but is still celebrated today thanks to a fan base that just can't let it go. Sega's last contribution to the console market has maintained relevance thanks to a library of intriguing titles that have either continued as big franchises or forced fans to keep their Dreamcasts in working condition. It was tough to look past what were the most memorable games, those that made the system truly iconic, and focus on what we feel are the absolute best. If you skip this system entirely, these are the 10 games you need to get in your life. Tennis is the original video game. Tennis for Two was developed way back in 1958, and 1972's Pong is an evolution of the concept. Virtua Tennis is one of the first games to give the sport actual weight, shifting momentum back and forth as you try to find an open spot to take advantage of. Originally released in the arcades, it caught on like wildfire after being ported thanks to intuitive controls and a difficulty level that scaled to near impossibility. The animation was eye-catching at the time, with characters that moved with a fluidity that never existed on the N64 or PlayStation 1. The 2K series dominated on the Dreamcast, but this is still our favorite of the system sports games. Building off the foundation set in the original Power Stone, its sequel raised the bar considerably. The addition of a 4-player battle mode cemented the franchise as a premier party fighter, where groups of friends can battle it out in chaotic brawls. Adventure mode and the item shop present long-term goals and incentives to play alone, while further supplementing multiplayer with wacky weaponry like bubble soap guns, 5-barrel shotguns, and frozen tuna. Whether we're all alone or with a room of friends, Power Stone 2 will always remind us of the Dreamcast's drive to experiment with existing arcade games and push genres in new directions. At the turn of the millennium, Resident Evil was a franchise that could always be found first on PlayStation, but in a surprise move, Code Veronica made the leap to Sega. Taking full advantage of the new hardware, environments are rendered in 3D, camera angles can be changed, and first-person aiming was introduced. All franchise firsts. Sprinkle onto that cake the ability to dual-wield certain weapons for maximum cool factor, while playing both sides of the Redfield saga in their mutual quest to topple the Umbrella Corporation. The journey is exhausting. It doubled the length of previous installments and takes you from an undead island prison all the way to Antarctica. While the Dreamcast may have lacked the most recognizable RPGs of the era, the ones that did make it to the platform are phenomenal. Grandia 2 excels with impressive visuals, a great soundtrack, and some of the best battle mechanics to date. Like Earthbound, you can see enemy encounters from the field, decide when to engage, and take them by surprise. There's depth in its character customization, and even though it uses a turn-based system, you have to account for distance and position on the battlefield, carefully timing your moves. Rare at its time and even rarer today, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 stands as a licensed game that was somehow created with love. From its unparalleled soundtrack, to each rider's implementation, to the skate videos included, to the comprehensive level selection, the development team's passion seeps through each element of the final package. Not only that, Tony Hawk 2 introduces manuals, and while it's something you'll only do occasionally when actually skating, it's a genius gameplay mechanic that allows the player to chain tricks together, create combos in the millions, and forget any other skateboarding game ever existed. Skies of Arcadia is another gem that makes up for the lack of role-playing on the Dreamcast. Its band of air pirates still features some of the most endearing characters we've seen in a console RPG. The game initially presents itself as fairly traditional, taking cues from numerous contemporaries. Yet as it goes on, it turns convention on its head, offering twists that completely caught us off guard. By the end, the characters change in dramatic ways. Although Skies of Arcadia saw a GameCube update in 2003, we're still holding on to an ember of hope that a true sequel someday emerges. Marvel vs. Capcom 2 isn't the most balanced game, but it's certainly one of the most exciting. The ridiculous speed, abundance of color, and excellent stages ensure that every single match is a spectacle. Even those who aren't versed in the genre can appreciate its chaos, making Marvel vs. Capcom 2 a joy to watch. It also has the most distinct and absurd character selection song of any fighting game. The Dreamcast port is far more faithful to the arcade original than other versions. More importantly though, few games on the system are as fun to play with friends. Mortal Kombat emphasizes blood and guts, while Street Fighter is all about hand-to-hand combat and key blasts. Enter Soulcalibur, weapon-based fighter and innovator of the genre. Its 8-directional movement forever changed the fighting landscape by offering greater freedom to further plan out your method of attack. Each character specializes in various weapons that considerably alter playstyles. Mastering each character almost feels like a brand new game. The Dreamcast version looks even better than its original arcade counterpart. While it's still a hardcore fighter at its core, Soulcalibur offers a forgiving learning curve and combo buffering to help ease non-fighting game veterans into the action, so anyone can have a great time. In 2001, MMOs had become increasingly prevalent on PC, but were non-existent on consoles, until Phantasy Star Online arrived. Although it's not as vast as EverQuest or Asheron's Call, the game took many of the best parts of MMO design and brought them to the Dreamcast. Phantasy Star Online made joining up with 4 others and exploring various realms surprisingly straightforward with an intuitive lobby system. Combat is simple but satisfying, with well-timed button presses rewarded with lengthier combos. Even those without the official keyboard can easily communicate with one another via a surprisingly comprehensive emote system. So many games seem to inch forward with new ideas, but Phantasy Star Online represented the kind of bold leap that is rarely seen. The majestic tale of high school student Ryo Hazuki and his quest for vengeance was light years ahead of its time. Set in the cozy Japanese village of Yokosuka in 1986, characters live their daily lives in a fully realized city, with a day and night cycle based off actual weather patterns from the period. From the biker gangs that prowl the streets at night to the shop owners who open in the mornings, each character breathes personality into a city that feels lived in. The personal tale of Ryo is strengthened by a memorable supporting cast that helps him on his journey in their own unique ways. While open-world cities are larger in other games, Shenmue still feels like a place where anything is possible. Let us know what your favorite Dreamcast games are in the comments and how heartless we are for not mentioning Sonic Adventure. Subscribe to us on Twitter and Facebook. Be sure to check out this week's GT Time with special guest Andrea Renee. Visit our reviews page on YouTube if you haven't already to see our verdict on the latest games like Axiom Verge. And stay tuned for a whole new GT Countdown next Friday.